Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_deadhead. Well, that game went fine. Pending the results for Bullard, of which I don't know at this point in time, that went perfectly fine. Actually, I do have some information here. Matt LaFleur says he is not certain on Bo Melton's injury, but he thinks Javon Bullard will be fine. And I know he did walk off on his own power, which of course is fantastic. So listen. First of all, thank you to everybody that joined on Patreon. Appreciate you guys. We had more people this week than last week. Hopefully, we'll have even more for our first of hopefully many playoff games. But I was fine with it. I had fun. We all had a good time. I think a lot of guys showed up, showed out, played well. I think if you're a Vikings fan, you should be embarrassed by that performance. Their offense could hardly do anything against our defense, and the offense. I mean, look, the quarterback. He ran a couple times, so that was cool. He wasn't really capable of doing anything at all. Despite that, the run game actually was quite good. The ability to run, Brooks looked fantastic. The fact that there was places for Brooks to run was pretty fantastic. Don't have official PFF grades out yet. We'll take a peek at what they do have, but looks like Jacob Monk had himself a fantastic day, which is great news. I mean, he's a interior offensive line draft pick that we made that we haven't had an opportunity to really look at because of the guys in front of him. Given the assumption that we may be looking at other options, I think it's great that he got an opportunity and that he seemed to seize on that opportunity. I thought Oladapo looked really good out there. He had a couple plays where maybe it didn't work out great, but for the most part, he was looking good. Baron Sorrell, I thought looked amazing. Diggs, I didn't really see, but that's a good thing. And according to PFF, their preliminary grades, he looked really good out there. So, I had a good time, man. I mean, obviously it wasn't perfect. We lost the game. It's never the most fun. But I was impressed with a lot of things. I think a lot of things went well. Injuries were really the only main thing. And with Bullard being okay, I think I'm perfectly fine. We just need Bo to be okay, to be perfectly fine, and we're moving on. I am starting the podcast right away, so we're going to be doing this podcast / hate watching the Bears Lions. I honestly don't even know who I'm rooting for in this game, to be completely honest with you. So I will do what I usually do, which is just laughing at both of them. I mentioned this on the live stream. It's kind of a win-win. If the Bears win, look how far the Lions have fallen. Considering how dominant they were looking, considering the fact that they were looking like they might be running the NFC North for a long time, for them to collapse like that would be phenomenal. It would be amazing. And if the Lions beat the Bears, the Lions are still third in the division. And the Bears would be going on a 2-game losing streak, including to, number one, a team that they might be seeing in the postseason, an actual playoff team, and number two, you lost to a third-place Lions team that is not even very good. And fortunately, the Bears actually do have to play. So it's not like they can just sit all their starters and whatnot, because their placement in the division is not set. So they have to win. They don't have to win the game, but they have to play to win the game. So there is no excuse. There is no, well, we already had the division locked up. Well, we already had no. The Packers had the number 7 seed locked up. They had the players. They had nothing to gain or lose from this game. The Bears do have something to gain from this game and lose from losing in this game. So, anywho, I'll be watching that, and I'll be sure to not finish the podcast until we have some clarity on the situation, so we can at least talk a little bit about that. Obviously, we'll be spending the next week talking about that. I also had a suggestion in the group that we really need to hammer the Vikings as a laughing at the enemy segment. And I think that that's true. We probably should do the Lions as well, but the Vikings have not been hammered enough for the fact that they were a playoff team that gave away their quarterback went with JJ McCarthy, who was terrible and can't stay healthy. The quarterback they let go of goes on to be an MVP candidate and lead the new team, which is a team that missed the playoffs last year, to not just the playoffs, but the number 1 seed in the division. And I don't know what the exact stat is, something to the effect of, I think, like the only quarterback to go back-to-back 14 wins. Maybe it's for 2 different teams, but I don't think so. I think it's just in general. Myles Garrett with the sack record. I will say, congrats to him and all that, but there is something to be said about the per game stat. I think that's much more significant than the overall stat. I mean, if a guy gets 20 sacks and he misses 7 games or something, I mean, obviously that is much more significant. But there is still something to be said about having more sacks in a season than anyone has ever had before. Just regardless of the situation, just as a general, like, that's cool. Anywho, some additional comments from Matt LaFleur. He says, I feel better about this certainly than I did a year ago after the game with Watson's ACL tear. I thought this was the best decision. Obviously, I agree. Even sitting our starters, we almost lost Bullard, so I'm very content with this situation. Matt LaFleur also went on to say that if Jordan Love had played or had been forced to play, that they would not have had him attempt any passes. So that's also comforting. I was getting very nervous. Not so much that he wasn't inactive, but beyond that, the fact that he was suited up and had his helmet on, was pacing on the sideline like he was ready to go in. I assume that didn't mean anything, but it was just making me nervous. So I'm glad to hear that Matt LaFleur said if for whatever reason he had to go out there, it would have just been run plays. We would not have had him attempt a pass. That is the correct answer to the question. Bears defense getting cooked right now early, which is great. Bullard apparently was asked directly about his knee in the locker room. He said he's fine. Fast forward a few hours, it is 16-16, and I guarantee you the Bears are going to come back and win this. I'm so sick of the Bears doing this, man. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of everybody falling apart right at the end and the Bears just becoming the most elite team in the world in the fourth quarter. I'm so good. Screw it. Let's play the Bears. Tired of this crap. Tired of this frickin' team. So anyways, I'm just starting to peruse a few things, and I don't know if I should keep doing it. I might just need to stop doing it. I was looking at some other content creator accounts and stuff that I don't usually do, going over to YouTube, but I'm just curious what their perspective on some of this stuff is, and I'm just reading the titles, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. Apparently, we have not been on the same page with these things, because it's almost as if you would think that they expected to win this game or something. I don't know what people thought, but it is just doom and gloom and just, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And it's really? Because last week was worse. 2 weeks ago was worse. This was bad. This wasn't even that bad. Our backups did decent. We got nobodies out there making the Vikings look stupid. Like, what are you mad because Clayton Tune isn't as good as you thought? Like, well, I think for a lot of people, this was just a Packer game and nothing else. There's no context. There's nothing else. This was a Packers game, and it was the worst Packers game I've seen. Okay, does it matter to you that nope, Packers on TV? Watch Packers on TV. Packers lose bad. All right, fine. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I can't deal with that, though. I mean, the Packers have been on a losing streak. It's been negative for a long time. I'm, for the first time, ready to be positive and excited. We're past this week, which has been a waste of time just getting to this stupid game. I actually enjoyed that game. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good game. I thought a lot of guys like Bear and Sorrell, like I said, did some really good stuff. Excited about a few guys and their opportunities, not just for, the potential future like Diggs, but also looking at possibly next year. And so I don't know. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was good. It was just kind of funny and comical and okay. Anyways, that's done. No injuries. Ready to rock and roll. Playoff time, right? Oh, no, I can't believe that, and this team is, bro, I can't. Kudos to you. I mean, that's how you want to spend your time, that's fine. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Apparently, I just needed to talk crap about the Bears being amazing for them to fall apart here because suddenly the Lions got a little steam going. So, with that said, Bears are so good and nobody can stop them. I mean, I'm going through some of this stuff, and I've decided I was going to actually just sit and watch because I'm like, I spend so much time doing AI stuff. I'm just going to sit and watch. I'm not going to sit and watch because I'm just getting angry. And I don't need to be picking fights with everybody else, but I'm just going through the list of like some of the complaints here. It's acknowledged that it's a meaningless game, but still, like that's not, there must just be something in the DNA of being a Packer fan that I saw human beings wearing a Packers helmet go out and lose a game and I'm upset about it or something. I don't fully understand. Oh, they were lacking energy. First of all, wildly disagree. Who was lacking energy? Which players? I don't know who you're talking about. Again, I think we confuse sometimes being bad and lacking energy. I didn't see a lack of energy. I saw a lot of energy. I saw a lot of guys playing really, really good football. Again, that was one of the best run blocking performances I've seen. Chris Brooks looked freaking amazing. I mean, Golden had, I think, like 2 drops. So that, if you want to nitpick that, but I'm sure nobody's complaining about that. He is the golden child among the Packers fans, so I'm sure nobody's complaining about him. And a pick. You bunch of freaking idiots. First of all, that guy was hit early, so I don't know how that's not a penalty, but I guarantee they're not going to throw a flag on that because the Bears haven't got a pick yet, and the NFL demands it. Like I said, Bears are going to win the damn game. Hate this team so much. Hate them. Yep, ran directly into St. Brown, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. You can do that if you're the Bears. Complaining about the utilization of Golden. Why wasn't Golden used more? Why didn't we? Did you notice how he was the worst player on our entire team? Like I'm so freaking tired of this. Offensive line, again, I'm not going to say that they necessarily looked good, but the run blocking was the best I've seen. The running was good. The defense looked really good, especially considering the circumstances. Oh, the Packers lost 4 straight. Listen. I'm ready to lose my mind here. They lost 3 straight. That's already a problem. Now we're in a meaningless game, as has already been acknowledged. So the 4th loss means essentially nothing. Just as winning this meaningless game would have meant nothing. But it almost adds nothing. It's just, it's one of those things that sounds bad if, again, we just ignore context. Well, wasn't that 4th loss a game that they essentially forfeited? Yeah, but it still sounds bad. Who cares? The 3 that they lost prior to was the problem, is the problem. This 4th loss means nothing. Jordan Morgan looked bad. No, he didn't. There was one play that I think a lot of people are blaming him for that was not his fault. Bottom line from my perspective is this. The Packers are screwing around today. Okay, this was a preseason game. They're having fun. The starters are getting healthy. They probably spent 70% of the week preparing for next week. Probably mostly the Bears, maybe a little bit the Eagles as well. Very little preparation on the Minnesota Vikings because who gives a crap? Because guess what? That's where our focus should be, needs to be, probably has been, and good. It looks like Washington's going to win anyways, so. And it's time to move on. Overanalyzing this game is such a stupid waste of time. Keep in mind, I did say overanalyzing because we are going to look at a few things that I find interesting and just kind of get some general information. But we're not going to sit here and pretend that this has some massive weight on any part of our season. This is not just the most meaningless game of the season. It is the most meaningless game I've seen in I don't know how long. Who is down there? He's up. He's fine. It didn't matter, and the Packers acted like it didn't matter, and good. There wasn't even an opportunity to get from a 7th seed to a 6th seed or something stupid. There was nothing in this. Nothing. Who cares? So, I'm hoping you're having a good day. If you're not, I'm sorry. And if you're not because of what happened with the Packers game, please, please, please don't be upset. Oh boy, somebody's hurt now. That doesn't look good. Bears player's down. Hopefully he's all right. Ben Johnson just always looks pissed, doesn't he? Anywho, let's take a break, and we'll see what else we can figure out here. We'll be right back. So this is pretty funny. Again, I say funny. Maybe this is a very serious issue, and if so, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make light of your trauma. Hey-oh, there you go. Oh, St. Brown, he's going crazy. So, looking at PFF, some of the stats, it's not really worth going through a lot of the stats, but some of these are kind of funny. The Green Bay Packers EPA per passing play is negative 0.79, which even if you're not massively familiar with like what's good and what's bad, if you're just kind of generally familiar, that's really bad. Like, I don't really know how bad, but I know it's really bad. But they've quantified that for us because they have percentiles. So, for example, the Vikings had a 0.09 EPA, which is the 54th percentile. So, right in the middle there. Do you know what percentile the Packers' negative 0.79 is? Zeroth, which apparently is how you say that. Zeroth. It is the 0th percentile. I don't know if that means like this is the worst passing performance in NFL history, or if it's like in that range, or what. But that's pretty funny. I mean, horrible and terrible, and we should all be ashamed, and everything is going to go down the tubes, and we're going to lose because Clayton Tune is an awful quarterback. All right, this is the game here. 3rd and 8. Lions going to kick a field goal. Come on, idiot. Don't miss this stupid kick. He made it. Good. Hi, stupid bear idiots. Loser dorks. Suck, bro. All right, show me the Eagle game now. It's still 17-24 with 1:17 left. Don't know who has the ball. It looks like Washington. All right, well, whatever. So all we needed to not play the Bears was for the 11-win Eagles to not lose to the 4-win Commanders. It's awfully sad we won't be playing that team. So also on the PFFs here, the initial grades, as you would imagine, most of the highest graded players are going to be Vikings. For example, Justin Jefferson was the highest at an 89, followed by Benjamin Jurosik, never heard of him, 79, and then Jordan Mason, the running back, at a 72. However, the final two highest graded, Anthony Belton at a 71 and Jacob Monk at a 70.5 or 71. On the defensive side, everybody is a Viking except one. Dallas Turner, Van Ginkel, Ivan Pace, and then Isaiah McDuffie. These are just the initials, so we'll see tomorrow what the official grades are, as well as some of the stats. I was looking at some of the pressure numbers and whatnot. Some pretty cool little nuggets there. All right, going through some of the statistics here. Clayton Tune officially 6 of 11 for 34 yards, 55% completion rate. I think it was like 75% adjusted. Eagles actually have a chance here. That drop isn't going to help. Chris Brooks, 13 attempts for 61 yards, 4.7 yards per attempt. Clayton Tune actually showing some wheels, if there's one thing that works to his advantage. 4 carries for 23 yards, 5.8 yards per attempt. Wilson had one of the worst plays of the day, of the season. I mean, we had like the 20, 25, 30-yard line and almost had a safety because of how far he ran backwards. Then we had our wide receivers. Golden was actually the most targeted. He had the 2 1 to 2-ish drops, depending on if you blame one on being a drop, but just 1 reception for 8 yards. Other next top receiver was Keeney James, who was kind of all over the place. You could argue he was our top receiver on the day. But 2 targets, 2 receptions for 15 yards. The only other person targeted twice was Dabney. 2 targets, 1 reception, 3 yards. Otherwise, Wiley had a catch for 4. Wilson had a catch for 4. Bo Melton was 1 target, 0 receptions. Obviously, no touchdown receptions on the day. Only sack credited to Baron Sorrell. I was worried they wouldn't call it a sack because he was just about to the line of scrimmage, but very happy to see that he got that. I thought he looked real good out there. Obviously wasn't watching him every play, but I was trying to keep an eye on him throughout the game, and every time I saw him, I mean, his get-off looked solid. He looked fast. He looked strong. I mean, we're obviously not talking like elite Bosa type of guy, but for a mid to late round prospect. I thought he looked real solid. A lot of times you just look at the offensive linemen and see how they're reacting. You know what I mean? If they're having a hard time containing somebody, you're doing a pretty good job. Other tackles for a loss: Shamar Bartholomew, Brenton Cox, and Colin Oliver, each with TFLs. And then a couple extra little fun notes here from Next Gen Stats. With most starters rested for Week 18, undrafted rookie Colin Oliver made his NFL debut and recorded 4 pressures on 15 pass rushes. Why did they call him undrafted? He was very drafted. Anyways, 4 pressures on 15 pass rushes. Fellow rookie Baron Sorrell added 3 pressures and a sack, both career highs. While Brenton Cox Jr., kind of getting ahead of PFF tomorrow, but recorded 5 pressures and a sack, the second most pressures in a game in his career. He had a sack too? This is my boy Trey Harris with a highlight touchdown. Let's go. Apparently Brenton Cox with a sack. I don't even remember that. But yeah, Brenton Cox had a very good day. That was supposed to be one of the highlights for tomorrow, but NFL Pro kind of got out in front of that. Oh, he dropped it. Dang it. The only other fun little statistic, the Packers finished with -7 net passing yards in their Week 18 game at Minnesota, the 3rd fewest passing yards in a game for the franchise in the Super Bowl era. 3rd? Freaking what? Lowest passing output in a game since Week 3 of 1976 at Cincinnati, when they recorded -35 net passing yards. Okay. Well, lowest of my lifetime. I guess we'll leave it at that. All right, why don't we take a break here, and when we come back, I want to highlight something else that's important that needs to be mentioned, and then we'll call it. Take a break. We'll be right back. So, just so we're all on the same page here, the Green Bay Packers just played a meaningless game, and we're just now about to start ramping up into what is the actual most important game. And regardless of how much optimism you have, a lot of Packer fans probably feel as though we got one more game and then the season's done. Maybe we can luck through this one and get one more, whatever. But it shouldn't fly too far under the radar that while we are shuffling our feet and moping about, well, that wasn't good enough, and I don't think we're going to do super good in the playoffs. 2 of our rivals' seasons are officially over. The Vikings just won, and their season is done. It is NFL draft time for them. The Detroit Lions beat the Bears. Their season is done. The Vikings and Lions were the best teams in the NFC North last year. They had the best records. The Lions looked like an absolute powerhouse, if not for the injuries and whatnot. The Vikings took Sam Darnold, who was this nobody, terrible quarterback, and turned him into some elite guy, and so they've got the greatest coach in the history of the world, and they're probably going to do that with JJ next year, and the Vikings are a force to be reckoned with, and you better watch out, and the Lions on top of it. I mean, if the Bears can really step it up here, the Packers are in deep trouble. They might be last in the division. Like, it's so horrible. Those 2 teams are going home. They're done. They're going to maybe celebrate this mini victory and then go do mock drafts. That's what they're going to do. The Lions just had one of the most triumphant fall from graces. They ran their mouth so much. Let's even back it up a little bit further. It's not just that they're going home. They thought, I don't know, a month ago, maybe, month and a half, 2 months max, that they still thought they were the best team in football, best team in football, certainly best team in the NFC North. No question they're going to the playoffs. And here we sit on January 4th, at least I do, and they're done. The Lions now have to pick up the pieces and ask the question, what do we do? And it's a solid question. What do you do? Quarterback's not good enough. Offensive line isn't good enough. Defense certainly isn't good enough. You have so many pieces that you need to figure out. And life got a whole lot harder when you weren't picking top 5 anymore. In fact, your GM, who was absolutely dominant, now when you look back in retrospect over the last 2 years, I don't know, man. Terrion Arnold is looking terrible. Ennis Rakestraw, I don't know if he exists. Giovanni Manu, I don't know who that is. Sion Vaki, Makai Wingo, Christian Mahogany. I don't think any of those guys are very good. I mean, there was a lot of optimism about Mahogany at one point, but at this point, 2024 has provided you nothing. Now look at the 2025 class. Tyleik Williams, Tate Radledge, the other offensive lineman, didn't go super great. Mr. Tesla looked like he was the greatest wide receiver prospect in the history of the world for the first 2 weeks, and then kind of quiet. Miles Frazier, Ahmed Hassanin, Dan Jackson, and Dominic Lovett. That's 13 players. How many of those 13 players are even good, much less great? Tesla, maybe? Maybe? If we ignore the fact that 75% of his games were bad. 2021, 22, and 23 were some seriously good draft classes. But just like I said with Brian Gutekunst, man, doesn't matter that you were good. It matters if you are good. And these last 2, like I said, draft classes, I don't know, man. And suddenly those 2021, 22, and 23 are lining up for paychecks like Penei Sewell, am I right? Like Aiden Hutchinson, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Next year's batch, by the way, is Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Brandt. Phenomenal group of draft prospects. Every single one of them is going to be holding their hand out. And no, this isn't me salary cap dooming, saying, therefore. It just means all that money that you would have had to go out and do something in free agency to fix the holes that you most certainly have at this point kind of don't exist. And so you are strictly a draft and develop team. Well, there's only so many prospects you can draft. And what is your hit rate going to be, 100%? I don't think so. Not to mention, it's looking like you're going to have to find a new and better coaching staff. You might need to find a new offensive coordinator that's a play caller. Because all this Dan Campbell nonsense. I mean, you guys almost lost the game again because of some weird, like, pitch it to the wide receiver who's going to throw it back to your quarterback. Like, can you guys knock it off with this stupid bull crap? Every time I turn on a Lions game, you guys are trying to throw games away with these stupid trick plays. Stop it. Stop it. You're bad at it. Okay? You're bad at it. But after all that time, right now the Detroit Lions appear to be locked into the number 17 draft pick with the Vikings at 18, which is freaking hilarious. Do you know why? Because the Lions are actually 4th in the division, not 3rd. I just realized that. That is, my goodness. From first to worst, it's a Cinderella story. The division really did get flipped upside down. Literally. I mean, 1 is 4, 2 is 3, 3 is 2, and 4 is 1. Speaking of the Vikings, what the heck are you guys going to do? You're very likely going to be losing the only redeemable thing on your entire team, which is your defensive coordinator. I think from my perspective, the absolute worst thing you could do, again, as a Packer fan, is fire your GM, because that guy is a gift that just keeps on giving to the rest of the NFC North. I mean, he is just the worst. Are you going to hunt for a new GM? If not, LOL. But JJ McCarthy is looking completely terrible, and even if he wasn't looking terrible, he has been hurt. I mean, remember, he was here 2 years ago, and he was hurt the whole year. And then he came in this year, and he was hurt about half the year with probably, 3-4 different injuries. He got hurt again in this game and had to go out because of a hand injury. Jefferson just had the worst year of his career. Addison just had the worst year of his career. Hawkinson is pushing 30 years old at this point and had by far the worst year of his career. Aaron Jones, I mean, it just goes without saying. Adam Thielen, same. Your stud left tackle, Darisaw, has now missed essentially 2 years due to injuries. Not entire years, but both years he has missed significant time. missing almost all of 2024 and half of 2025 now. He drafted a guard in the first round in Donovan Jackson. He was not good this year at all. You've got 1 year left with 33-year-old center Ryan Kelly, who played a half a year for you this year due to injury. Your right guard, Will Fries, is not a good football player. And you have 1 year remaining on the contract of 31-year-old right tackle Brian O'Neill. And your defense is what? What is your defense? Dallas Turner? Dallas Turner had 7 sacks this year. That's your stud first-round pick. 31-year-old Andrew Van Ginkel. 29-year-old Jonathan Grenard. Is this your future? How about 31-year-old Jonathan Allen on the interior? Or 33-year-old Javon Hargrave? What is the plan here? Linebacker Eric Wilson is a free agent. Blake Cashman has 1 more year. The other linebacker, he's 30 and has a year left on his deal. At corner, you got Moreau, Jeff Okudah, and I don't think he matters, but Moreau and Jeff Okudah are free agents. You're going to bring them back? Okudah's terrible. Fabian Moreau is 32. Safety, you're almost certainly losing Harrison Smith, who's very likely to retire. This team is a mess. I've been saying the same thing about the Vikings for years. For years. Stop doing this. Stop going out and getting old people that are 33 years old to fill in spots, because you're just kicking the can 1 more year, which is another year of not actually building for the future. If you had listened to me 5 years ago, you wouldn't be in this situation. It would take, 2 years to pull out of this downward spiral? I mean, you're going to need to find a GM that can draft, but you're not going to do anything with this. Not to mention, I think it's a legitimate question, should you be looking for a quarterback? Unfortunately for you, you probably won too many games, thanks in part to the Packers' last game, to secure your spot as the worst draft pick for a non-playoff team. That is to say, the highest draft pick. Or lowest. I never remember which freaking direction we're going. Highest is in biggest number. But what do you even do? Do you draft another edge rusher? No, probably not, because you're going to ride out the guys that you have. Are you going to work on corner? Are you going to replace Harrison Smith? Or are you going to work on this offense and build an offensive line to help protect this useless quarterback? I mean, you're not going to go get him another weapon. I don't think running back is a problem. Is that it? We're just doing offensive line? Even though Darisaw and Kelly and O'Neill are still going to be there, as well as a first-round pick, I mean, really, you just have a right guard that you could even consider aside from a backup of the future. But as far as what's going to help you in 2026, what are you going to draft that's going to help you? You don't need a tight end, a wide receiver. Anything other than a right guard. Nobody else is going to start. You're going to get a third receiver? I don't even know. I'm glad it's not my problem to figure out. But the Lions and Vikings are officially dead and done and over with. And that may be our reality next week. I don't know, but I don't care. Because the playoffs haven't even started. We haven't even hardly considered the fact of we got to ramp up and start getting excited about an actual big game this year when 2 of our rivals are just done for the season. It's a beautiful thing. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.